Nail or beauty school was just the beginning, right? What on earth do you do now? Welcome to the Salon Success Podcast with Monaco Nail Academy. Our topics stretch beyond nails and into all things salon related, business, marketing, and social media, and at the very least hits you with real, honest stories about our experiences. This isn't school, this is real life, real business, and really freaking hard work. Before we get started, wherever you are, thumbs up, tag a friend in the comments, or hit that share button and support small business. Hey guys, Penny here from Monaco Nail Academy, and today I'm joined by Pat.
Hi.
And by Mel.
Hey.
And it's just the three of us today, and we're going to do a little bit of a shorter episode talking about operating hours.
And just a reminder, before we get started, to use my code PATSITIVE for 10% off all courses. I get a kickback from these enrollments, and that's how we support the production of the podcast. And of course, Mel has to share her code too, but you should use mine.
Yeah. Nails. So, yeah.
Say it again, Mel.
Mine is Jungle Nails.
Alrighty, so they are fighting to the death for all of your guys' commissions. You guys, of course, get 10% off as well as them getting a kickback. Before we get stuck into this week's topic, let's revisit last week. Mel, can you sum up what we did last week and a couple of little takeaways for those who skipped the episode and definitely should go back and listen to it, though?
So last week we talked about attracting our avatar. So we built our avatar, created our avatar, and then we were looking at where they are, what they're doing, and how we can grab them and get them to come to us.
How do you remember all that? Love that.
Yeah, it was a whole week ago, Mel.
Yeah.
Pat, what was your biggest takeaway from the avatars episodes?
My biggest takeaway is that I now have an avatar. Like, fuck yes. Hi, Marissa. And I need to do a focus group so I can understand Marissa more. That's my takeaway. I have action points. Homework.
Alrighty, so from avatars to opening hours for those avatars, I don't know if anyone will have clicked on this episode, but I still think it's an interesting conversation, even if it comes out a little bit shorter. So some of you might think that the only people who need to decide on official operating hours are those who own commercial salons. I think that is incorrect, and that it's equally important that home, mobile, and rent-a-chair technicians have really strict operating hours too. And I know that Mel feels me on this at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
So decide on a schedule for yourself and your business. This is key to the success of your business, and I need you to stick to it. It's not just about when you're open for clients, there's more to it. But if you have a commercial salon, you might open Tuesday to Saturday from 10 till 7. Working between those hours is your job. If you have a home salon and you decide right now that you are going to work Tuesday night 6 till 9, Thursday night 6 till 9, and Saturday from 10 till 2, that is your job. Say you worked for someone else in any industry and you turned up at 9 a.m. and there were no customers waiting for you. Like if you worked in a shop, you worked at McDonald's and there's no one in the drive-thru, you work at anywhere and there are no customers waiting for you. Would you go home?
No.
Right? Like, but yet when we don't have clients, we're like, sweet, I'm off. But like if you worked for someone else, would the boss accept the fact that their business like failed because there weren't any customers knocking on the door, so you just left? Or like maybe would the boss be kind of upset that during the hours you were supposed to be working, like you didn't even try and get customers?
I feel where you're going with this, and it reminds me of the whole, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. You know, that thing in retail? And it's like, well, in other words, get busy, bitch. So,
yeah.
And I think that's what you're getting at, Penny. So if you don't have a client like in the bookable hours, you should be doing something to make those hours booked.
Yeah, you can't be doing nothing and then be like, yeah, but I don't have any clients. Like you are the reason you don't have any clients.
Okay.
So, okay, wait. Let's imagine it slightly differently. Like, say this whole scenario actually happened to someone else. Like, you heard through the grapevine that a friend's business failed because their staff were turning up and then sitting out in the back in the lunchroom watching TV until customers turned up. Like, would you be shocked that the business failed?
No, I'd be like, duh.
then why, not you two specifically, but like someone out there who is having an aha moment, why are you then so shocked that you don't have that many clients? Like, maybe it's not a shock to you. Like, I know that this resonates, like Pat and Mel are on the same page as me, but like, maybe it's not a shock to you. But so many of the salon owners that I meet out and about, like at Expo, at Summit, like stuff like that, they'll be like, I have a Facebook page. I do a good job. I'm a good nail tech, but I just don't have many clients. And that sentence is almost always followed up by, but that's life in a small town, or but that's because my prices are too high, or but that's because a nail bar opened up down the road. Like, no, you are not lacking clients because of location, price, or competition. If you are lacking clients, it's because you have to go and get them.
Ooh, tough truths in today's podcast episode.
Steve, this is another one of those episodes where like the draft title that we see behind the scenes is like, why would we listen to that? But then you get into it and you're like, oh, yeah, okay. I needed to hear that. And not just you guys, like me as well. Half the time when we're going through these, I'm like, oh, yeah, the penny that wrote this was really onto something. Like, I just think though, when I first ever opened up my home-based salon, like 13 years ago, like I hustled. I took every job I could. I reached out to PR companies. I offered group bookings to the businesses my friends worked at. I self-promoted from the time I woke up until the time my head hit the pillow. And like, obviously, if you have kids or a full-time job, other commitments that I didn't have, you can sit back and be like, yeah, but I can't do that because my lifestyle doesn't allow it. That's okay. But like, first of all, if you don't have the same time to apply to your business, don't compare your success to people who do. Because lots of people know that I was fully booked within 4 months of going full time. But like, I didn't have kids to look after. Like, I really had the time to hustle. If you need to like look at people who have busier salons and understand that many of them don't have the same commitments as you. Your journey is going to have to go the long way if that's your situation. If I had had kids back then, there's no way that I would have been fully booked within 4 months. Like, my businesses at the time were my children. So all I'm saying is like, yes, okay, we're going like, get off your butt and hustle, but at the same time, hustle realistically about like, just know what you can achieve and don't beat yourself up when you don't achieve more.
In saying that though, my lash tech educator, she started her lash salon like when she was pregnant, and she was like in her late teens or something. And she was a young mom when she got her salon fully booked for lashes and employed like 3 people. So that, I think we shouldn't also just be like, yeah, well, I have all these reasons and nothing's going to happen for me. So it's like, be realistic, but also don't hold yourself back kind of thing. Like, balance, hashtag.
I was gonna say balance. Like, that's like being on a seesaw.
Yeah, I agree. And everybody has different reasons why they take on this journey and why they want to do it. So my fully booked looks very different to Penny's or Pat's fully booked. Like, one of my fully booked days was 1 client because that's all I could fit in between the gym, the client, doing what I needed to do at home, and then the kids finishing school early. Like, that was my fully booked day. Everybody has their different reasons, and remember why you do this. Yeah, and just don't let it overtake your priorities and your boundaries of why you do it and why you operate within those hours.
Well, then this is why we make a schedule though, right? Like what I was talking about at the very start, like if you have kids and netball and PTA and a job and like all you can manage is Tuesday from 6 till 9, Thursday 6 till 9, Saturday 10 till 2, like that's okay. But it's like about switching your mindset to be like, okay, those are your hustle hours. During those hours, your friends and family know that you work. You know that you work. Your partner knows that on those nights, they have the kids, you are working. Your friends know you're busy. Your clients and the friends they tell you about, like, they all know how that works, because like obviously some flexibility needs to occur and stuff. Like, we're not saying you have to be like so regimented, but we're saying that if you are available for clients, you need to be able to hustle, and you teach people how to treat you. So if you say, look, on Tuesday and Thursday nights, I am focusing on my business. If you were still in training, your partner or your friends or whatever would be like, she's got class on Tuesday night. But then just because you're out of training and you're no longer committed to us, why does that commitment to your business, now that you can actually make money, waver? But it is, you teach people how to treat you. So you have to be like, no, just because my course is over, I still work on my business on Tuesday nights. Like, you have to, like, I'm not going to answer the phone. Like, partner, you're going to have the kids, like, whatever. Because once you have that really strict boundary, you'll be really surprised how quickly it goes like, oh yes, but she only works Tuesday and Thursday nights. Like, that will turn into like, oh, I got to book in quick because she only works Tuesday and Thursday nights. And that starts to flow into all the other parts of your business.
I'm just thinking I need to book in a business meeting with myself and talk about my priorities and also my commitments to this business of mine. That's what I'm thinking.
That is what it is, right? Like a business meeting with yourself. That's a good way of thinking about it.
Yeah, totally. Honestly, if I had employed the old Mel, she would have got sacked because she was fucking slack. Like, if I had my hours booked and there was no clients, I was like, yeah, I'm going to just lie on the couch and watch TV. Like, I was not because I was busy. Like, I was working another job. I had young kids. So when I had no clients, I was like, yay, time off. I didn't use it to grow and find clients, which is why it took me so long to get a good base, because I wasn't putting in the effort in my work time when I should have been.
And like, I think there's an argument to be made for your life having seasons where, like, I thought about it before when you were saying something else, Mel, or you were saying that your fully booked is different to our fully booked. Well, my fully booked in winter is also really different to my fully booked in summer, because in the middle of summer in our holiday town, I will open up 12-hour days and make some bank. But then in the middle of winter, I'm like, no, I'm doing 2 to 3 hours each evening and I'll open up the weekends. But otherwise, this is when I focus on Monaco. And it might be when you focus on family or a different hobby or like stuff like that. So yeah, like, it does lean into the fact that there can be seasons, and maybe sometimes, like, I'm imagining someone listening to this being like, yeah, but I'm too tired right now. I want to be on the couch watching TV. Okay, cool. Then change your hours, your structured hours, your business meeting with yourself hours, your client hours, your hustle hours, whatever you want to call them. When you're in that season where you need to hibernate a bit more, change your hours, but still commit to some hours. Maybe it's one night a week instead of 3 nights in a weekend, or maybe it's 3 nights in a weekend instead of full time, or whatever. You can honor different seasons in your life, but it's the commitment to hustling when you are dedicated that is what I think is important.
Yeah, I think it came down to me for not having that clear like shift to, okay, I'm working now. Like, even if there's no clients, I'm going to be doing social media posts or whatever. There was no clear like shift. It was all sort of melded. So then if I didn't have a client, I would just ooze back to like mum life, and there's no kids here, there's no clients, so I'm just going to lie on the couch, where I should have been like, okay, work time, like, and do something related to the business.
I think that just goes to show how important it is that we actually articulate like what our goals and priorities are. Because if the priority is mom life, then you should be having the space, like having a container for that, so that you're actually doing it justice, right? You don't want to half-ass raising children.
Yeah.
And same thing with our salons. So if we know, like, it's better to have one day that, or one, like 2 hours on a Friday that we know is solid time that we're doing nails or working on our business, rather than, okay, we've set aside 3 nights, but realistically, we're not really doing it, because then it's like you haven't even used that space for your other priorities, but you haven't used it for your nails either. So it's just kind of like time that's kind of already wasted because you're not utilizing it in a way that makes sense for your business or for your personal life. So just like commit. I'm like talking to myself. I'm like, hey Pat, like sort your shit out, girl. But like it's improving because like now I have 2 days a week where I'm in Taidua doing nail / Monaco stuff with Penny. And that's actually really helped me focus my attention and focus my efforts. So just that has been like having that as a container has been really helpful. And then I get to have conversations with my husband that are like, yeah, so those are my days that I'm there. And like technically it's still a trial because he's still like keeping an eye on me and making sure my mental health is fine. But it's like, there's a nice container and I know what that priority is for those 2 days. So now I'm going to apply that same kind of thinking and energy towards my Thursday, Friday, because those are the other days I want to be doing salon work. So yeah, just tinkering with my business live for not live, but like on the podcast for all the viewers, not viewers, who is watching, listening, all the listeners. What am I talking about?
It makes total sense to the old Mel. Like, yeah, I didn't set those sort of different. There was no jungle nails Mel and mum Mel. It was all just a of whenever, wherever. There was no. Yeah, I don't know. And I think it would have gone a lot better for me if I had just said, okay, work time now and focused on that rather than like back and forth all the time.
And I think as well, like this episode is definitely with a very specific type of person in mind. There's a person that I have come across many times in my travels as in Monaco life, right? Not a specific individual, a type of human that exists. And I think that like anyone listening to this episode going like, oh, that is not realistic, is just not that person. You're not the avatar for this episode and you still learn something. But the person that I'm trying to get through to is like, so it's if you say like, okay, cool, well, like I don't want to half-ass raising my kids. Great, please don't. I don't want your half-ass raised kids in the same world as me when they grow up and they're half-assed raised humans. But what I do want is for then you to go, okay, cool. Well, the season of my life is about my kids and therefore my hustle hours are limited. And then because your hustle hours are limited, because you have chosen to parent to the best of your ability, then don't complain to me that your business isn't doing what everyone else's business is doing. And then if you choose, because maybe you don't have kids or maybe whatever, they're older, whatever it is, if you choose that you are going to hustle on your business, that's okay too. Like it is about seasons. And I'm not saying that every single person should be out there like hustling from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep. I'm just saying, pick what your priority is and hustle the shit out of that priority, even if that's your kids. And then I think there's like a saying, like, I don't know what it is, but like, you're going to see your grass grow where you water it, right? Like, so if right now is about your kids, great, but don't put so much pressure on your business. But then if you want your business to grow and thrive and be big and successful, then water it.
It's about being intentional and like directing your focus where you actually want it, not being half-assed about everything. I think that's what you're getting at, Penny. Like, that's so good.
Yeah.
Take notes, people.
It's raining. I got to go get my washing.
What's happening?
It's raining and she has to go get her washing.
Ah.
Which ties in well with, I was about to say, I know one of the benefits of working from home is flexibility, like getting up in the middle of a podcast recording to get your washing in. We support that. But like you have to earn the flexibility. Like I've hustled long enough that less so now in a small town, but definitely when I was in the city, like all the clients I had were regulars. They turn up on the days and times that I wanted them to turn up. I could make a living wage in a really concise number of hours, like timed where I wanted it. But like you have to earn that. And then if something comes up on a Thursday night and that's your hustle hours, you're supposed to be working, but something comes up, there's like some birthday dinner or whatever, and you have no bookings. You're allowed to forgive yourself for like quote unquote swapping a shift and hustling on Wednesday instead. But you can't make it a habit and you can't tell your clients you're taking the night off. You just tell them you don't have any appointments available because it's not a lie. but it also leaves the trust they have in your schedule intact and keeps breeding a sense of urgency for bookings because they still assume you're full. You can swap a shift, so to speak. It's just what you were saying, Pat. It's the commitment.
I'm just taking notes. Meditate on this.
Yeah, that is so good. And I think I lacked that when I first started. I just viewed it as a way out of my other job. And so that people would not be like, oh, well, she just left her job and she's just doing nothing. Like it was this sort of out for me, and what I wasn't committed as much as I needed to be at the start. And it wasn't until I shifted that this is my job that things actually started happening.
Yeah, mindset is like a big deal. Like, yeah, it's that shifting gears to go, okay, this is real now. I mean, I'm 16 years into being a nail tech, and I still refer to when I used to have a real job. And like clients will be like, this is a job. I'm like, yeah, it's not a real job though.
That's such a good point.
Yeah, I still will catch myself saying, oh, but I don't have a job or I don't work. And my husband's like side eyes me like
you do have a job.
you're working 12 hours. Like you have a job. Like change your view.
I remember, I think it was literally last week or the week before, I was doing a client in Tairua. I think you were there, Penny. And like the client was literally like, why do you not think this is a job? Like this is a job. Is it because it's too fun? And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, why do I not feel like it's a job? Is it because it's too fun? But even if it's fun, that doesn't mean it's not a job. It just means that, I've made really good decisions in my life that I can have fun working.
My friend Bonnie, who we all know and love, like we live on the same street. She calls in all the time. Sometimes she'll call in, literally her record is 8 times in one day. Sometimes I won't see her for a week. But when she calls in, I am usually working. And sometimes that is editing reels on my phone on the couch while Carl's watching a movie. Sometimes it's me at my computer. Like my work looks like a lot of different things. But when she walks in, I'm working. And she said the other day, like literally 2 days ago, she's like, do you ever take time off? And I was like, well, yeah, but this is fun. I don't want to go, like, what is time off to other people? To lots of people, it is like watching TV. I don't want to watch TV. My job is fun. Like editing videos, recording podcasts, creating courses, having conversations with our students, planning events. Like, why wouldn't I want to do that? Like, there are elements of my job that aren't that fun. Like, I don't know, answering emails or something's not that fun. But honestly, like, it's pretty good. And then because I know my brain works best when I first wake up, I tend to make my like hustle hours when I first wake up. And then the thing is that I can then have like my mum gets here from Christchurch tomorrow, and then I won't work very much for the next 7 days. And I think sometimes people aren't seeing that flexibility that we've built for ourselves. Like, yes, I'm working a lot, but what I've earned is the ability to be in complete control of my hours.
I was going to talk and choked on my own saliva. That's how old I am.
I do that all the time.
That's why we don't think it's a job, right? Because we're not like held down and restricted. We have that fluid movement. And because most of the time we're at home and we're comfortable, we're not in a job that we hate, which most of us have been. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird mindset thing that needs to change.
It's such a thing though. Like it is such a thing that 16 years in, I can't say it's a real job. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't do anything though. And then other people will be like, you literally work 60 hours a week. And I'm like, but I'm not like doing anything. It's not real.
No,
Not only do you have a real job, you created jobs for like 100, 600 other people.
We're over 900.
Gee.
are we getting fun for the thousandth person?
Yeah, I reckon we should. I watch for it. The only problem is there's like, I don't know how many, but I think the first 20 people are missing off our student record. Like the first few people before Monaco was rarely Monaco. When I was teaching when I was working for another company teaching, so I wasn't I had Monaco, but the qualification wasn't ours. And those people are not on our student record, but like they're still part of our community. They've still kept in. And I'm like, well, so I don't know exactly who number 1,000 will be.
Just on our records, I reckon.
All right, so we've not done an ad break this episode because it is a little bit of a shorter one, but I will remind you that we have a super fun, I think, quiz, because it took me, speaking of hustle hours, this took like a month to build. No jokes.
It's a good quiz.
It's so fun. Monaco.ac.nz/course-finder will take all of your preferences, goals, dreams, hopes, whatever, and turn it into the exact Monaco course that is going to work for you. So if you head to that link, there's usually a monthly prize draw for people that do complete the quiz as well. So that's a bit of fun, even if you're just nosy. So final thoughts on this episode, Mel and Pat?
I am going to set up a little business appointment with myself. So that's going to go into my calendar. And I'm going to talk to me about my working hours and what I'm expecting of myself to do in those hours. You know, put my old manager Pat hat back on, except now I'm the boss of me. I'm difficult to manage. So that's going to be, that's going to be fun. I will only have to manage myself. Let's go.
This is why my avatar isn't me, because I don't want to deal with me.
I think my takeaway is that it's okay for my operating hours to look different to somebody else's, and that's okay.
Yep, totally. That's why we're doing it. We're not doing it so that we can just do what everybody else is doing, or we would. So with that done and dusted, before you disappear, like our page or follow the podcast so that you don't miss the next episode. We will be back next week and Erin will be joining us. Pat, what are we doing next week?
We are going to be talking about entering a nail competition. How do competitions work? How can we practice people's experiences? All about competitions. So if you are feeling a bit competitive, you better stick around and wait. Maybe don't stick around. It'll take you a week. In about a week's time, we are going to talk about all things competition.
So until then, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching Monaco Nail Academy or follow our salons. Mine is Hard Like a NZ.
Mine is Pats of the Beauty.
And mine's Jungle Nails.
Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.